My name is Mbweha, but you can call me Ben, of Team Relentless, and this is the Playbook, where I teach you to do something in Star Wars Legion a little bit gooder than maybe you already do it. I hope. Today, we're talking about speeder bikes. Is that the clip we're going to use?
Yes.
Okay. So the 74Z speeder bike, made famous by everyone's favorite Care Bear movie, The Return of the Jedi, has been around since launch in Star Wars Legion. It was one of the first Imperial metas to run Veers triple bike, but ever since people had an opportunity to put points into almost anything else, they've gone out of vogue. But they're still good. In fact, in the current online Yavin-based Team League, I'm currently 2-0 with my bike lists. So while they aren't really in the meta right now, you can still play them at high levels of competitive play and win. And I'm gonna learn you how, starting now. This is not a unit analysis, so I'm already assuming that you know what dice these bad boys throw and that sort of thing. So, moving on to number 1. Bikes will die. Your bikes are going to die. Oh, I see now.
Yes.
You should be running 2 or 3 units of bikes in your list, so that's, let's see here. Yeah, that's a lot of points that you're gonna lose. So you need to expect to win by the objective. Because you're playing for objective victory points, during deployment, it's important to put your bikes somewhere where they can affect objectives in the early game the most. Deploy your bikes so that your opponent has to put their own troops far away from objectives that would be more ideal for them. Or, if they don't counter-deploy your bikes, feel free to flank objectives, take open shots, and ruin their day. Speaking of what you should run in your list, I am assuming that you are running Veers in your bike list because you're smart and stuff like that. Okay, it's time for number 2, Assault into Evasive Maneuvers. The standard opener for bikes is to play Assault on turn 1, making sure that all your bikes have orders, and then to play Evasive Maneuvers on round 2. When you play Assault, be sure to give orders to all of your bikes, and then hold those order tokens until the very end so that you can go last with your bikes. When you do activate your bikes, you'll compulsory move, aim, and shoot. If you have to compulsory move and shoot because there's nothing else in range, that's fine too, especially if you used another unit with Spotter to give the bikes extra aims. So now it's turn 2 and you weren't an idiot, so you made sure that your bikes are still within the command range of General Veers. If you didn't do that, oops. Also, consider running Commanding Presence to extend Veers' range out to 4 in your bike list. So it's round 2, you play Evasive Maneuvers, and you also don't forget that your dodges cancel crits on those bikes this round. Activate the bikes as soon as you can, doing another compulsory move, aim, and shoot in almost all circumstances. Now you've gone last first with your bikes, hopefully getting 4 or 6 entirely full shots into enemy troops. After this, if your bikes take literally any other shots the entire game, you should be celebrating and doing many, many happy dances. Because remember, number 1, your bikes will die. So if they take more shots, that's a good thing. Number 3, cover. Cohesion, cohesion, cohesion. You should always be looking for opportunities to cohere your bikes so that they're benefiting from cover. Remember that they already always have cover 1 because of BAMF 1. That's the specific keyword on the card. So any other model in the unit benefiting from cover will upgrade that to heavy. This is especially important to do when you're using area terrain like these. You can get pretty creative with the way that you cohere in order to make sure that you have open shots, but your opponent is firing into heavy cover. Number 4, target priority. I think I've already said this a few times, but you want to take open shots, and this is just a rule in Legion in general, but especially with your bikes. Your number 1 target is whatever you can shoot that's in the open, ideally enemy trooper units. The idea with bikes is to thin your opponent's core so that in the mid and late game, when the cores of your army and their army come together, you have a massive firepower advantage. Sure, it's true. Bikes do have impact, and so you might be shooting at vehicles as well, but always take the shot that will table the most minis when possible, especially in the early game. Also, if you're firing into that armor, don't forget that keywords stack, and so each miniature has impact 1. So a full unit of bikes will have impact 2 when firing into armor. Because of rules, things. Number 5, late game triple move. If any of your bikes actually survive into the end game, it's really important to remember how far they can zoom across the map with a compulsory move. Bikes love key positions and breakthrough, because they can actually will score.
Yeah.
Bonus tips! There are some niche things about bikes that don't come up very often, but you want to be aware of them in case they do. They are, remember that you can displace enemy units when you're doing your compulsory move. This includes where you put your second model when cohering.
That's not how the Force works.
Remember that each bike has a range 2 pistol that's not tied to their front arc. This means in special circumstances you may choose to split fire to generate extra suppression on the board, or fire into something that's behind your bikes. Remember to look for the elusive and rare compulsory move completely out of line of sight. It's a rare beast, but a noble pursuit. Summary! Let's review. Number 1, your bikes are gonna die. Number 2, play assault into evasive maneuvers. Number 3, always be looking to cohere into heavy cover. Number 4, always take open shots into troopers whenever you can. And number 5, be aware of the ability that bikes have to score by triple moving in the late game. Don't forget that the overall strategy with bikes is to affect attrition in the early game so that in the mid and late game, your core of troopers has a big advantage over the enemy's core of troopers. Now you know how to play bikes better, I hope. Check the description in the video for some of my favorite bike lists, and if you like the video, feel free to say so by clicking the button, wherever it is, I don't really know, and subscribe if you're into that sort of thing. I'm Mbweha, you can call me Ben, of Team Relentless, and this has been the Playbook 74Z Speeder Bikes.